Vadori, and I'm an author, I'm an editor, and a book coach, and welcome to this week's episode of Inspired Writing, where it's my mission in life to give all you writers out there all the exact information that you need to finish your book, get it finished, and also build the writing life that you love. Hang with me to the end of this video to find out how in September 2021, you can actually work with me for free for 5 days. I'll be your book coach and we'll get that book in tip-top shape and get you on your path to finish it off. All right, so hang with me till the end of this video and I'll tell you how to do that. So today I'm going to share with you guys the best tips that I share with my book coaching clients on how to get that book done and for just writing life in general and how to write that book. In this week's episode of Inspired Writing, right here, right now, I'm going to share with you guys the best tips that I share with my book coaching clients on how to write a book. Okay, you guys ready? You ready? Okay, get a pen and paper. You're going to want to write some of this down. So number one, I want you guys to really know your goals. And I know that sounds silly because you're sitting down, you're writing a book, but depending on what your goals are, it's going to make a really big difference in how you do it, right? So are you writing as a hobby because you love it and you don't care if anybody ever reads it? That's okay. Are you writing because you want to write a book that supports your business, like a business book or a nonfiction book about something that you know about, that you want to feed your client base? That's okay, right? That's another different goal. Do you want to write a bestseller? A lot of people want to write a bestseller. And if you're watching this video today, it might be because you want to level up your writing and write the very best book that you can. So congratulations on all your writing there. Each of these goals is valid though. So I want you guys to recognize that. But here's the thing, whatever your goal is going to determine how much work you need to put into your writing. Okay, so let me say that again. Depending on your goal, if you want to be a hobby writer who doesn't care if anybody ever reads it beyond their family, that is a different goal than wanting to write a bestseller. And how you go about writing your book and the effort that you put in is going to be really, really different. Let me tell you a little story. Okay, so I was a business executive for 20 years. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I pull stuff from the business and corporate world and bring it into writing because they're very, very different, but there's a lot to be learned. And the best lesson that I ever had in the business world was from somebody in our HR department. They talked about when we're ranking people, right? So kind of like when the readers are ranking a book, right? So even in the corporate world, if you have a job where you get evaluated on, say, a 1 to 4 stars, right? 1 to 4 stars, I'll keep it simple. And you know that if you put that, I'm going to give you a visual here. If you put a board, a 2x4 on the ground and walked across it, you're going to get a 1. Good job, you got a 1. And so if you do a quick draft of a book and you hit publish, you're going to get a 1, right? And if that's what you want to do, then that is awesome. Good job, right? And then if you want to do a little bit more, you could take 2 chairs and put that plank between the 2 chairs. And how many people would be willing to still walk that plank, right? Are you still willing to walk on that plank and do that work to get that 2nd star? Are you willing to do it? I don't know. That's up to you. And then if you want, you could take 2 ladders and put that plank between the 2 ladders. It's gonna be a little uncomfortable. You're gonna get uncomfortable. It might even be scary if you're afraid of heights or you're wobbly or you're out of shape. It might be scary. You're gonna have to work on it. It might take you a couple of tries, but you can do it. You can do it. It's not that hard. You're not gonna die, right? You're not gonna die walking across that plank. And then you get the 3rd star. And if you wanna write that bestseller, you want that 4th star, right? You might wanna put that plank on the ceiling and train for it and learn how to do it, right? And crawl across it sometimes and hang on for dear life. And it's gonna be more work, but you can see the work, you can do the work, you can do that work, okay? I firmly believe that this is my 2nd piece of advice. Anyone can learn to write a book. Anyone can learn to write a book, no matter your background. But we just have to recognize that depending on where you come from and depending on your experience, you're going to have some gaps. right? But you can fill those gaps. You can get a team together to fill those gaps. You can work with, if grammar's not your thing, work with a strong editor. Who cares? Your story is unique and it needs to get out into the world. And so however you do that is totally, totally cool. If you are going for the fences, swinging for the fences, back on the goals for a moment, don't sell yourself short. Don't take the 1-star route if what you really want is that 4 stars or 5 stars, I guess, on Amazon, if you want to go that way, right? If you really want to be walking on the ceiling, don't expect to just publish your first draft and get there. You're going to have to put the work in, right? That's a disconnect. That's a disconnect. Anyone can learn to write, but be open to working on your skills, okay? So invest in your skills, take a course, work with a professional editor, get a critique partner, get your writing out there to readers. There is no way that you can learn this stuff yourself, okay? There's no way that you can know for sure. So here's the thing. There's something called the burden of knowledge, and you have it. If you've got a book that's exploding in your mind, then you know exactly what's going to happen in that book, and you know what the story is supposed to say, you know what it's supposed to look like, you know what your characters are feeling and thinking, you know how it's going to end, you know all of that stuff, right? But because you know all of that stuff, you're going to miss things in your own manuscript, in your own writing. You're going to miss things. Writing is actually a contract. It's a dialogue between you and a reader, and you can't do it by yourself. You can't, because you know all that stuff. And when you read it, you're going to hear stuff that isn't even on the page. And so what you really need to do is get others involved along that process. If you want to walk on the ceiling and get that, get that highest rating, you want to write a bestseller, you're going to have to actually get readers involved. And that could be beta readers that you are really directed and just get their reactions, or hire a professional editor, work with a book coach, maybe you have an agent that can give you that type of feedback, somebody else to give you that feedback to make sure that what's in your mind is actually there and that they're experiencing it in the same way. Okay, there is no way to know if you've succeeded in writing a book that affects people unless you ask, unless you put it out there for them to read, and then listen. Okay, listen to the feedback. It doesn't mean that you have to take all of it. It doesn't mean that you have to do things the way that people suggest. Sometimes people come to me all the time and say, Suzy, I got conflicting advice from different people. A couple people liked it, somebody hated it. You know what? Listen to the trends and listen to the person who hated it as much as the people who liked it. What did they not like about it? You don't have to take their suggestion and turn your romance into a science fiction novel. You don't have to do that. But notice that there was something that didn't quite work for them and see if there's something that you can do to improve it. Okay. My third best advice to writers that I work with is to develop a thick skin. So this is along the same sorts of lines. Develop a thick skin for feedback. I am so grateful to my editors and agents, for all of the feedback that they give me on my pages. It's like cheat notes, right? So there's this thing, if you are writing something, remember I talked about the burden of knowledge in number 2, the burden of knowledge, and you can actually get away from that by putting your book on the shelf for a while. So if you've been writing a book for a while, if you haven't looked at it in a couple of years and you open it up, you're like, whoa, I missed all of that, or that isn't what I thought I wrote. It's a really cool perspective, but you can get it much faster if you work with other people. Right? So if you get professionals who know what they're talking about, they can point out stuff way faster for you. So get a thick skin. Don't think of it as criticism or that you did something right or you did something wrong, right? If they rubber stamp it and say it's good, be like, yeah, I did it right. No, it's not right. It means it worked. And if they don't rubber stamp it and they give you feedback that something isn't quite working yet, say thank you. Right? You don't want to publish that and then have it fall flat and have readers give you all those 1 stars and you have no idea why. So work with other people. Listen to the grain of truth in their feedback and develop a thick skin. Think about those edits or comments or feedback as your cheat notes. It's a roadmap. It's a way forward that you don't have to work on yourself, and you don't have to put your book away for 10 years to forget what you ever wrote to be able to understand if a reader is going to understand what you put on the page. Okay, so that thick skin that you've got, If you want to get your book to that bestseller status or that best book that you could possibly write, then you're gonna have to get feedback from other people. So take it and say thank you. Ask for help and invest in yourself. That's the best advice that I can give you guys. Invest in your skills. Take that hobby draft that you created, because even if you say that writing is now a hobby, I think we always, most writers have a dream that lots of readers will love what they write, and it will become, very popular, if not a bestseller, right? That even if we're writing for a hobby, we really hope that most writers really are writing because they want readers to love what they're writing. And that doesn't just happen accidentally. It doesn't happen accidentally. So ask for help, get others involved, and invest in yourself, invest in your skills, and know where your gaps are and work on it. Work on it so that you are the one who's walking that plank at the top of the ceiling. It is predictable. It is not random. It is not random that your book succeeds or fails. The work that you put into it and the actual skills that you learn to put what's in your head onto the page in a way that your reader is going to love is very specific. Okay. So if you guys are writing a book and you're ready to take it and write that best book that you could ever do, and to walk the ceiling and to get that those reader reviews that are just raving, I am ready to help you too. If you're watching this video in September of 2021, then this is your moment, because I am actually going to be your book coach for 5 days for free. And between September 10th and September 14th, I am running a virtual retreat, a virtual writers retreat, which is going to get you to that level. Okay, we're going to get you kickstarted, get you reconnected with your stories, and give you all kinds of free materials and skill sets that you need to walk the plank on the ceiling. I am here for you. I am cheering you on. You can sign up for the virtual retreat wherever you are watching this video or listening to this podcast, and I hope to see you there. Until then, happy writing, and I will see you next time.